Welcome to this week's podcast. How often do you describe something as silly? If you do, listen up. This is going to be a short, sharp, sweet podcast that you might want to actually come back to because I've really noticed a lot of women, a lot of mums will say to me, "Oh yeah, but it's the silly little things that I have to do. Like I have to pay for my son's scouts. I have to book the doctor's appointment. I need to do such and such for the dog, or, order the food shopping or menu plan. It's the silly little things that I don't get around to doing." And this may sound like a really insignificant word, but just notice how, when you say it, how your body feels. And I'm going to guess kind of makes you feel a little bit crap, especially if you're not getting that silly little job done. Because what then does that mean about you? And so here's this is a time management issue, but and so much more, it's a mind management issue. Because you think that task is silly. But silly is a descriptive word. Silly is not a fact. Just like all the other things that you might describe. It's negative, it's horrendous, it's constant, it's terrible, it's awful, it's stressful. Just become aware of that dialogue that you're using. And then check in with yourself. Is it really silly? Now, if you're saying that to yourself and it's motivating you and making you feel positive and take action, brilliant. This podcast isn't for you. But I'm going to guess it probably is making you feel rubbish. And it's not even true. So let's take, I don't know, like paying for your something to do with your children's school trip, or cleaning the house, or whatever you're considering as silly. Let's look at that for a second. If you didn't do that task, what is the actual impact? And for me, something that enhances my child's experience is not silly. Something that actually enables us to stay healthy is not silly. So just be really careful how you're using that word, because if it's making you feel rubbish, what you're actually doing is belittling your tasks. It's belittling what you have to do because you're judging it as being silly. Don't do that to yourself. Don't put yourself through that. If you have something that you want to do and you know the reason why you're doing it, please don't make it, please don't belittle it. Please don't, um, I don't know how else to describe it, but belittle, but please don't make the things that you want to do insignificant. Because every time you do that, it just damages your relationship with you just a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. So, the first step in this process is to really just start to become aware of how you're describing situations. How are you describing the things that you have to do? And if they really are factually insignificant, take them off your list. Seriously. If it is actually silly and every single person in the world would agree that it's silly, Why are you even thinking about doing it? You could take it off your list. But if it's something that you do actually want to do, paying for the school trip or booking your children onto an activity or phoning the doctors to get that appointment or phoning the vet, whatever, cleaning, tidying, whatever it is for you, if it is actually something that you do actually want to do because you want the positive consequence of it, but it's just a 5-minute task and you're putting it off, just make a quick list of all the 5-minute tasks you have to do. And then add up all those 5 minutes. And let's say it's half an hour worth. Go to your calendar, look at your calendar and go, right, when am I going to sit down and do those 5 things? And put that time in your calendar. So maybe you're going to say, right, Tuesday afternoon at 2 o'clock, I am going to sit down and I'm going to pay that. I'm going to phone them and I'm going to sort this out. So I'm thinking for me now, like I have to book my car in for its MOT. Well, when am I going to sit down and actually phone the garage to get that time booked in? So allocate a time in your calendar to do that. And know that in that time, these are the 5 things that you're going to get done. If you're being honest with yourself that they literally are 5-minute tasks, do them. Get it in your calendar. And then what will happen is when that time comes, so say you're going to do your 5 little tasks, 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday afternoon is going to come, 2 o'clock's going to start to come around, and your brain's probably going to go, oh, well, there's this more important thing. This is really serious. There's this other thing that needs to be done. Or isn't the weather lovely? Let's go out and enjoy the weather. Or my friends just phoned and invited me for a coffee. Your brain is probably, because you're human, going to give you all the reasons why you shouldn't then sit down and do that task. And this is where the mind management piece comes in. This is the bit where you get to decide. Do you want to keep having those 5 things hanging over your head? Or do you want to sit down for half an hour and get them done so that they're clear from your mind? Because that's the choice you get to make. Understanding that your brain's never really going to want to do it because the brain is perceiving these 5 tasks to be some form of life threatening, which logically we know just absolutely isn't true. So we can find out that primitive part of our brain quite funny. But you get to respond to it. So for me, in my head, this literally sounds like if I were talking it out loud, it would be like, I hear you, Sue. So my primitive brain is called Sue. I hear you, Sue. You don't want to make this phone call. You don't want to sit down and pay these bills. You don't want to look at, your bank account. I get it. You don't really want to phone the doctors or you don't really want to phone a book in the MOT. I get it. But Nikki is in charge here. And Nikki gets to decide whether she wants these 5 things continuously on her to-do list or whether she wants to get them done. And you know what? Let's just get them done. You don't need to feel happy, joyous, and positive. You just need to sit down and do it without any drama. And normally, when we're putting something off, we're like, especially if we're thinking it's going to take us hours. So, folding the washing, I get my children to do this now, but I used to always put off folding the washing because I was like, oh my God, it's going to take me hours. And then you start doing it, 10 minutes later, it's done. And you're like, why did I spend days thinking that was going to take so long? I could have just got it done. So, that's what I have for you this week. Stop belittling the tasks that you have to do. If you actually have to do them, choose a time, get it on your calendar, get it done. And if you like what you're hearing and you like my energy, then let's talk about this more because I love helping people get rid of their to-do lists. I love helping them get more organized with their time management, more organized with their mind management, just because we are so much calmer on the other side. And really, that's all we kind of want. Have an amazing week, and I'll speak to you all next week. Bye.